have a dream, oh, I have a dream. Red, white, and blue, fly free, fly free. I believe, oh, I believe.
Good morning. Welcome to Changing Times.
Well, I tell you what, we just got, we had your beautiful jingle. I tell you, for all the people, welcome to Changing Times. I don't know what happened to the video just then, but when you hear that and see that, Don Blackard actually, that was her idea, her video, and we chose that to open and close every show.
Yep, show number 95. Can you believe it, Lynn?
95. We're getting close to 2 years on the air, and our crowd has just, we're having people today welcome from all over the country, all 50 states and around the world. And we've got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about health and wellness. And you just said it exactly right, Macy, and I'll introduce you in a minute. But sure. You said your wealth is your health. Yeah. And you know what? This is exactly true. I mean, no matter what age you are, if you don't have good health, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can have all the money in the world, but you're not going to get to spend it or enjoy it if you don't have good health. Right. So we're going to try to give great little hints and tell you what some of us have done. I'm not a very good example, but I'm going to tell you some of the things I am trying to do still at my age, and we'll all share into this and just have a good time. We are live at the Axe Media Group headquarters in Springfield, Missouri, and I always give a little weather update. It's rainy outside. It's going to be raining today. This is a great day for the ducks. The ducks and the geese out there where I live out on a golf course, they love this kind of weather. They're happy today. I watched them, and they're making noises, and they think it's really good. The rest of us, maybe not quite so good, but it'll get better. Spring's around the corner, but we appreciate you tuning in today. So Macy Mitchell, yes, so Don and I have known you for quite some time.
Yep.
And right. You and your family are just great people.
Oh, thanks,
Lynn. And you are actually one of the top people that we wanted to be on. We're going to probably do a 2 or 3 part series on health and wellness. But you own your own business,
right? And
it's called
our fitness facility is CrossFit Republic.
CrossFit Republic. And how many years have you done that?
It'll be 10 years in May.
10 years in May.
Wow.
Well, that's a long time, you know, and I know you own some other business too, and we'll get into that. But so extreme fitness, when people hear the word extreme, that probably scares a lot of people off. But I heard you say in there while we were in the other room, right. I heard you say, well, you know, you've got a program for old people like me. You've got a program for overweight people. Right. You've got a program for beginners. You don't have to be like competing on TV, right?
Sure. Oh yeah.
You could fit a program to make it fit for anybody, right?
You bet. Yeah. So I mean, you know, a lot of people, the word CrossFit can scare them. And a matter of fact, I thought about taking it off the building a couple times, but then we'd be like everyone else, you know, community fitness, and how would we differentiate? And people know that the word CrossFit typically means results of some sort, right? A lot of them attribute it to extreme workout programs, but if we get people through the door and explain it to them and show them, really, to be honest with you, it's about the community is the secret sauce. Once they get in those doors, we show them that what we do is we put movements outside of the gym, whether it's picking something up heavy off the floor and putting it on a shelf in the garage, to maybe having to walk a mile because, you know, you've ran out of gas on the highway and you got to fill up a gas jug. You want to be ready for anything. And so what we do is we take real life movements and we put them in the gym, and you can scale that to whatever age, whether you have bad knees, bad back, etc. And we can kind of help nurse that back to health. And then while you're there, you kind of fall in love with the family and the community. And before you know it, you're there, and you didn't know how you got it. You drank the Kool-Aid. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's a good culture.
It is a good culture. That's what we have to do.
Well, you know, the healthier we are, the better we feel, the longer we're actually going to live.
Yes.
And I think everyone wants to have a long, productive life. And you might as well be feeling good while you're going through life's journey, right?
Yep. Quality of life is everything.
Yeah. Yes. You know, we don't get a second chance. I mean, this is our chance. And it's kind of like Dawn's a book writer, and I'm so proud of her. And we've had several people on that have written many books. But I always tell people, and this is still the beginning of the year, I believe all three of us have written some pretty good books about our own life, because every day, there's 365 days in a year. And I'm looking at that calendar yesterday and I'm thinking, okay, we write down some things that we're going to do that day, meetings, things we're going to try to accomplish. And so by the end of the year, you've actually written another year's journey of your life. And so I think now what we're encouraging people to do today is to just really hang on to your health, and don't let it get down to where you can't hardly do anything as you get older, because we all become, I know for myself. So do you have flexibility and agility type things? I mean, when you get to be my age, you just, I think about it and I think, where did I lose that? Because when I played college tennis and college basketball, I was flexible.
Yep.
I mean, I could fall down and roll over and I wouldn't break anything.
Yeah.
Today, if I fall down and roll over, I'm almost dead.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have no flexibility anymore.
Right.
So I've lost all that, but I think I can gain some of it back. Don't you think people can slowly gain it back?
Yeah, it's something that if you don't do, it leaves you. And a matter of fact, as you get older, and we've talked about this amongst ourselves too, like as you get older and the aging process happens, things just naturally get harder. And so people will use the excuse, well, I'm older, I'm tired, so I don't need to do that, when really they do need to do that. It's like, if you're, I've learned to become a yes man with my kids. I'm 40 years old. I got 3 kids. I'm not saying a yes man as in give them that candy bar or spoil them when they ask for something. I mean, like, hey, they say, hey, daddy, will you come out and jump on the trampoline, or will you play basketball and stuff? And so along with the flexibility conversation, it's like, if I didn't do that, I would become that person where, where if if your body doesn't stay in motion, then it won't stay in motion, right? If you're not constantly greasing it up. And so, like, for instance, flexibility, when you got done playing basketball or whatnot, you have to continue to still have those times where you stretch or whatnot. It's not like, hey, I'm not playing sports anymore, I don't have to. It should be an everyday thing for quality of life. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're shuffling around and it doesn't matter how old you are. I see guys my age that should be moving a lot better and playing with their kids and creating memories. And they're like, I'm too old for that. And it's like, well, they feel too old for that. But if they were doing it, they would feel as young as they were 20 years old.
And Macy, we have that vision that we want to be those grandparents doing that.
Right. 100%.
And there's all those parents not doing that. Right. And it's because they're, they eat what they want because it feels good, but then it makes them feel like junk. Mm-hmm. I've gotten really in the routine of, I'm eating what makes me feel good for 12 hours, what really fuels me and sustains me, and not what I want to eat, And this world, it is so easy to be unhealthy. Mm-hmm. They have everything lined up for everybody to choose the wrong choice.
Right. It's true. I think a lot of people don't realize, like, they're living this quality of life right here, and they think that that's where they are, and that, hey, I feel pretty good. But as soon as they can tweak a couple things and they start feeling this good up here, they realize, oh, wow, why didn't I change that earlier? They don't realize, if you go to, don't get me wrong. If we pull through McDonald's or something like that for the kids for a quick snack between ball games for them, it's not, in a perfect world, it's not what we should always be feeding them. But let's just say we're in dire need of food and we do it and we give them something, and then I grab myself a burger. Well, that's fine if I'm eating healthy most of the time. But what ends up happening is just that, we'll just talk about little things like you eating the white flour in the buns, the way they process things nowadays. I don't know about you, but I feel inflamed afterwards, the knuckles, everything. And maybe I'm just really aware of my body because we try to be as healthy as possible. But it's things like that when you're constantly putting things into your body that really shouldn't be, especially the way things are processed nowadays. You eventually go downhill and you don't even know it until it's too late, till you're getting that eureka moment at a doctor's, visit, or, you have a heart attack or something like that, where you're like, whoa, I'm only 55 years old. What's wrong with this picture? So.
Right.
Yep.
Well, Don, I want to ask you, because mental health. Mm-hmm. Mental health is, I kind of look at health and wellness into 3 different areas. You got mental health, And that's making sure that you keep your mind with vitality and vigor, and you can concentrate always. People think when they get old, they can't remember, they can't do this, can't do that. No, I don't think that's right. I think you have to train your mind, and it's just kind of like working out. You have to work at your mind out. And then I think spiritual health, I think that all three of us are pretty good at our spiritual health. But for all the people that's watching out there today, if you don't have a church home, if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you really don't have the spiritual health that you need. And if your other parts of your health is failing, you certainly need your spiritual health.
That's good.
But and then we have our physical health, that what we've been talking about, some of the things, and we're going to continue to do that. But what about mental health? What do you do, Don? I mean, what do you think about mental health?
For mental health, well, I do what makes me feel good, that the Holy Spirit's leading me to do, because that invigorates me. I'm kind of a different person, that I get my energy back by giving to others, but not over giving, not doing. But every week since Christmas, I've had a box in my house, and as I go to the grocery store, I pick up a few things for a boy in my church that I know needs food, because I gave him a basket back at Christmas. Well, that need at Christmas is still the same need that's
Right.
here, in February. And haven't been posting about it or telling people, but when I give it to that mom and that kid, and they're just like, thank you for not forgetting about us. Like, I can't believe you're still doing this. It does something for me to keep me in check, that I am blessed, and I worry less about my problems and focus more on what I can do for other people. I also get a stupid amount of sleep. I go to bed really early because I wake up at 4:00 in the morning. And so when I'm working, it's kind of like work, eat, work out, sleep, time with my son, but prioritizing my time, I think, is a big one. But to go back to something that Macy was talking about earlier, and that you were talking about with mental and spiritual and all of that, you can get something at your house by, like, lifting free weights and watching a sermon. I know that sounds kind of weird.
Sure.
Not everybody does music. Some people walk on a treadmill and, kind of gets fed. But at Macy's gym, it's that well-rounded, because of the culture of people that you're getting fed that spiritual, mental with the physical. That's why people keep showing up, because people need friends. People don't have, when you're younger, you have this big group of friends and you hang out with them. And as you get older, you get more isolated as a parent or, whatever. And your burdens of life are pretty heavy when you go and you work out with people that you see every day. Like I see you every week here, which helps mental health. So kind of talk about that with mental health, with culture.
Well, yeah, you need relationships. So I think a lot of people are coming back to that, as far as, after going through COVID, it changed a lot of things, as far as people being able to do Zoom and people being able to do life without others. And I think mental health went down in a big way. And the churches were vacant and the gyms were vacant, et cetera. And I think a lot of that's coming back because people are realizing, hey, no man's an island. I need community. And so just like, let's be real. And maybe this is confrontational, but just like how people stream services, hey, that's a great service to offer from a church. And, if that's your way that you can get it in, good. But there is nothing like being there with a community of people like-minded, that are thinking the same, that are talking about the same things, encouraging each other. It's the same way with our gym. We pray over our gym, we circle our gym, we pray that it positively affects people. So when they walk in there, if they don't know the Lord, they do know that something's different. And so that's what and the Lord, I'll always boast about Christ, not ourselves. And I think that He's going to hand the ball to people that He knows are going to glorify His name. And we have seen a blessing with our gym where He continues to send people, regardless of whether we're doing a great job or not. But when they walk in those doors, He can entrust that we're going to love them and take care of them. And what happens is we form these relationships. And before you know it, they're not even there for the fitness. Some of them come to lean on His shoulder and cry. And we even, run over and pray for them in the corner real quick. And then before you know it, they're still getting their fitness on. And so they're seeing results, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, which, to be honest with you, somebody that, knows the Lord, my wife and I and stuff. That's what we have a heart for. That's why we've been in the fitness industry so long. There's so much in the fitness industry that maybe you wouldn't like or you don't like, but we've stayed in it because of the relational and the community, the stuff that really keeps people on the long game. So yeah, you're exactly right. That's a huge mental.
So, Don, when you listen to Macy, folks, this is why we have him on the show today, because you are absolutely what we do every week. You are a difference maker.
Oh, thanks.
You are a difference maker, and this show looks for people that are difference makers in our society. And then we're hoping that you will hear things today that you're going to emulate, you're going to incorporate into your lifestyle, and you can do it in your community too. And then, Don, what do you always call people?
So you're being the change.
Being the change.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, when you are combine those two, that's a powerful thing. And so thank you for all that you do. Well, let's also talk about, because you have fitness as the center of your life and God. And then, but you do other things, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And so what do you do with the chamber, Republic Chamber?
So a couple of years ago, the position opened up to become director of the Republic Chamber. And, I grew up in a family business, it's 37-year-old family business now. I'm a product of the American dream, as cliche as that sounds. I mean, we came from nothing to something. My dad and mom took their life savings and we found a niche in the market, created it, and year by year just became a little bit more successful. And so I saw that entrepreneurship and that hardship that came with it. And so what happened is I'm still involved in that family business and we own CrossFit Republic as well. But when the director of the chamber opened, you're thinking, okay, hey, I even thought this to myself, I'm too busy for this. But what happened is it was something that I felt like the Lord opened up an opportunity, because Republic is one of the fastest growing areas in the state of Missouri currently. And I saw this as a way to not only be a platform for the Lord and be a beacon on a hill, as far as not myself, but like Republic, it's a city on a hill, if you will, but also a chance to be an advocate for other people that were just like me and just like my parents, to help pull them up and encourage them. Joe down at the oil change place, been there for 30 years and needs a little, pat on the back for all that he's done, creating jobs for the area. Or maybe this new entrepreneur that's 20 that wants to create a business and he needs a consultant. Hey, what are my next steps? It's like my heart goes out to that. And so I became the director of the chamber, been doing that for a couple of years now, and we have just had a blast, and the Lord's got his hand on it. We're doing some big things right now.
And the Lord's in it when you feel invigorated doing your job. And I know you do, because you can see it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You're
Yes.
very passionate, and Republic is such a great community. I'm always telling our listeners, we live in the best area in the United States. It's a secret little gem.
Sure. Southwest Missouri. If you're not living in Southwest Missouri and you're in another one of the 49 states, you may want to decide to come live in Missouri. It's just a great place.
Yep.
And you're exactly right, because I had a pharmacy in Republic. I had pharmacies all around small towns, and Republic has got it going right now. And a lot of it is because of you as the director of the chamber. Also, you've got a great mayor and city council. You got great leadership.
We do.
And so all of you guys together has made Republic actually get on the map. You've taken businesses that other communities like Ozark, where I live, and Nixa, and Don lives, you've taken businesses that we all wanted, large employer businesses, and you got them. So you guys were smarter and worked harder and planned. You got to do all those things, and you did it. And so congratulations. My good friend, Representative Jeff Messenger, lives in the Republic. He's a good friend of yours. And so, they've got a great place. They've got a great place to live, and you guys do that. So I'm really proud of you. And then let's talk about your wife, because
yes, we had her on the show for our homeschooling special. So hi, Jen.
I
don't know if she's watching. We'll see.
Well, that would have been good for homeschooling today, because she actually teaches all three of your kids homeschooling,
She
right?
does. She does. Yeah, we do the classical conversations method. And right before I got here, I dropped them off at Lighthouse Christian Chargers Athletics. And so we're all in it. Yeah. So she does a great job. I mean, it's not an easy one, especially when you have kids and at separate ages. And so you're trying to teach, your oldest what they should know, and you're trying to teach a 7-year-old running around. That's, we all know the third born. No offense to any third borns out there. You guys are special. Okay. But anyways, yeah, she does a great job. So.
Yeah. Well, and you're right, Don. We had her on there, and we're a product of public schools,
Yep.
but and I think we kind of came at a different time period. But honestly, the public schools today, some of them are still doing okay,
right.
But some of them are not doing as good. And I think we're all demanding, as parents and grandparents, I think we're demanding that the public schools do better. If we don't teach and educate our kids in the right manners and our grandkids in the right manner, then we're not going to have the future leaders. They are the people that's going to replace the three of us someday.
Right.
And we've got to have kids that are prepared. And unfortunately,
and I'll say this too. I mean, so you're right. You're exactly right. There are public schools in the area that are doing a great job and trying their best. And then there's others that, you're like, okay, what's going on here? I think it's really important to hold on to that as a parent and say, hey, a lot of these schools are focused on raising kids instead of actually having the time to teach them, because they're not, they may not be being parented correctly, or the parents may not have time, et cetera. If you're a parent out there, it's like, just be encouraged, you impact your kids, but remember, they're with their peers 8 hours a day, and they're in the schools. And if you don't have a positive effect on them while you're at home or whatnot, then that could be detrimental for generations to come. We need good parents out there, regardless if you homeschool or public school. We need good parents taking ownership over their role.
Right. Well, that brings me to this point. I think it's time for us to take a break too. Miss Jody over here, she's just a very talented, young, attractive lady that helps us as a producer. All of our producers are volunteers. We're all volunteers. Yeah. Dawn volunteers her time here with Acts Ministry. Great. I do. Jim Whining, the CEO, and Pam, his wife, they're all volunteers. That's what makes the organization so great. But just yesterday in our commission meeting in Ozark, Missouri, we signed, 3 commissioners signed a proclamation for National Marriage Week. It's February 7th through the 14th. Now, this is not just Christian County or Missouri. This is the United States. This is a national proclamation. We had several governors. Governor Parson did it. Governor in Tennessee did it. Different governors throughout the United States has done this week. And we understand the importance of marriage, and that over 90% of the people are married at least once in their lifetime. So it is the backbone. It's the pillar of our society. Sure. And so it's so important. And so we had Jerry Angelo on last week, and he did a great job. He and Kate, and they were Vanguard Marriage and Family Advocates. Right. And so we've got some really good things going on, but you're exactly right. I mean, the role models of parents need to sometimes step it up, and so it's kind of sad that we have so many kids. That's why we had big brothers and big sisters on too, and they do so many great things for kids to kind of be a substitute for a parent sometimes. And so anyway, well, we're going to take a break. We're not going anywhere. So get your pencil and paper out. We're going to talk about our 3 sponsors. Don and I have 3 really good sponsors. And the first one is Brad Pistow. He's a certified fiduciary financial planner. His telephone number is 417-581-9222. 417-581-9222. And when you call Lisa or Hunter, Hunter is his son, and they all work in the business, and they are retirement specialists. You call up, and they're going to give you information about retirement planning. Brad has written 2 books. Safe Money Matters was his first book, #1 best-selling on Amazon for retirement planning. And then his book that came out last December, when your book called
Henry Bigtree's 100th birthday party.
Big Tree. Yeah, I tell you what, Henry's, that was a great book, and I'm hoping you're still selling books. If you don't sell, if you want to know a book about sustainability and environmental concerns and things like that, and you as a parent or grandparent read that book to your child, you will learn something too, right?
Oh, yeah.
About conservation, sustainability. Very good book. It's just beautifully illustrated too. So I'm just so proud. I know Don's going to be writing another book and soon. But anyway, the second book he wrote is Bulletproof, and it's just kind of a continuation of his thoughts on retirement planning. You have family members that use Brad Pistow?
Absolutely, yep.
And and I do too. So Janet and I use Brad Pistow. And we've not, in this last year and a half with the stock market going crazy, values are down 35% down and across the board. And we haven't lost a penny. We've not lost $1 in while the stock market's going down. We're still making some money. But the good news is you're not losing money. It takes so long. When we had the recession back in 2008, 2009, 2007, 2008, 2009, and the stock market lost almost 50%. It took us years to get our 401ks back up, not 12 months. It took us several years to get our stock values back up to where it was before the recession. Well, think of all the gap you lost, all the money. And so if somebody's trying to retire this year or last year, it would be sad for those people have lost a lot of their value of what they want to lock in for retirement planning. So Brad Pistow is a guy I highly, highly recommend. He's going to be on our show very soon. And we always have our sponsors on our show, and he'll be giving some highlights of 2023, what we need to be looking at. Our second sponsor is Youngblood Motor Group. That's John Youngblood and John Whittaker, and they're located in Springfield, Missouri. They have new cars, Nissan and Kias, on one side of South Campbell, and they have over 150 used cars on the other side of South Campbell, almost right across the street from each other. And they're located at 3525 South Campbell, and their telephone number is 882-3838. So 417-882-3838. And I tell you what, I bought my last two cars from the Youngblood Motor Group, and I will continue to buy another car. John Youngblood has sat right there, Macy, where you sit today, and he's talked about a electric car that they have that actually doesn't have to be recharged. Wow. Something that I would like, because it actually has a generator that recharges itself. That's right. And so while you're driving down the road, it gets to a certain point, it flips back to gasoline. But while it's using gasoline going down the road, is also regenerating and recharging your battery. Wow. So it just flips back and forth, and it still gets over 50 miles per gallon. And I'm one of those guys that I still haven't figured out. I don't think we have enough charging stations, and I don't think they're going to be free forever. I think once we get a bunch of charging stations built, we're going to have to pay for it. You're going to pay for it at home with a charging station, and you're going to have to pay for it every time you go to the grocery store. It's not free. Right. Nothing's free. So I don't know how we're going to save all this money, but we'll get that figured out someday. But these guys are just really good at buying cars, selling cars, used cars, and things like that. All their used cars are programmed cars. And the third sponsor is Louie Michael. We mentioned him a while ago. He is a sponsor, and he's also our sub co-host. And he's also Mr. Elvis Presley, basically, because back a long time ago, after Elvis died, they had a big contest of over 250 applicants thinking they were all Elvis. And he won the contest. So he sounds like Elvis. Now, he doesn't fit in the jumpsuit like he used to, and I wouldn't either. But he can still sing like Elvis. And so when he comes on our show, he sings some Elvis songs and makes me feel good. Elvis was one of my favorite people and stuff like that. So we've got three really good sponsors. We're still looking for a couple more. I think we've almost got them. So I told Jim Whining the other night on an email that I just need to get the contract signed, but we could probably take 2 or 3 more sponsors. But we're very particular, because I've had 1 or 2 that wanted to be a sponsor, but I'm looking for family-owned, Christian-driven businesses. I don't want chains. I'm sorry. I don't want big box stores. I've had an opportunity. I could have had 5 sponsors, and we need the sponsors. Macy, because I'm wanting, and Don wants, we want to have a telephone system like I had with my radio program. When you guys were on my radio program, I want listeners to be able, wherever they're at, wherever they live, I'd like for somebody to be able to call in. You said something and they react. I want to talk to Macy. I want to ask him a question, a follow-up. Well, we can't do that. And we're proud. We're grateful for what we have, the equipment we have, but we know we can have better equipment to actually have a better show for the people. And so that's still what our goal is. And so we're getting there. But Louie Michael is a realtor for the firm in Ozark, Missouri. And he really does a great job. And if you buy a home from Louie, he's going to go to your backyard and do an Elvis show. And all you got to do is invite all your neighbors. You don't know any of them, but have them in the back, give them some cookies and punch or something like that, and have them everybody sit back there in their lawn chairs, and you'll have the best time in the world, and you'll meet all those new friends and things like that. It's kind of like that out the back doors when we
Adam and Faith,
because it wasn't too long after we had them on our show that Faith and Adam and Faith had a deal at somebody's house in Springfield, Missouri. Beautiful green yard, and we all brought our lawn chairs, and there was probably 50 or 60 people there.
Yeah, that was good. And then something awesome about Louie is he donates his money to a nonprofit, Choosing to Live. And we've had Macy's friend on. Macy does a lot for suicide prevention in Republic. And we've had that nonprofit on before too. And so, just having a beacon and a place that they can turn to. And I know Louie's that ear for a lot of people. That's God thing for him, Donna Presley's on his board. So Elvis's cousin.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, he's got a VIP board, and honestly, every time he makes a sale, he puts a portion of that money back into his nonprofit. And he's a man that, young man that back when he graduated from, he didn't graduate from high school, but when he almost did, he'll tell the story because most everybody thought he graduated. You kind of lose track of big schools. He went to Kickapoo in Springfield, and he quit 2 weeks before, and he went down to Busick Park and put a gun to his head. He was just within a second or two, he'd cocked the trigger, and he was within a second or two of taking his life. And that's what he actually wants to prevent all around the world today. So we're really proud of Louie. He had an event last night in Rogersville. I didn't get to go because I had an OCAC Zoom board meeting, but he's always constantly trying to help people. And so he's just a great sponsor and a great co-host.
Oh yeah. Well, back to Macy. I've got a thought here that I want to go into because I love something that you guys do over at the CrossFit gym. And that is you guys focus on the youth. And so you guys have like a youth program. So if Riker 13 wanted to stop in, that he could work out, but you guys do the Special Olympics.
Right.
So you've got a heart for letting people in the gym and encouraging them, and everybody supporting them. So talk about what you do with that.
Well, like I said, it's so much bigger than fitness. It's we almost run our gym like I guess you could say like a non-for-profit. We try to kind of almost be an umbrella. And I don't charge anyone to come in and do fundraisers depending on the situation. We do a lot for our veterans, our active service men and women. Like I'm putting on a competition to raise some money for a couple foundations and whatnot. It's a one-day event. It's called Battle for the Brave, where we honor men and women who have either passed away or been injured in the line of duty. And we do it just for local heroes. Like we don't go beyond 417. And so we invite their families. It's a very emotional time. Last year was our first annual. We've got a local non-for-profit called Tristan's Hope Foundation. I was actually just texting who you guys had on, Jason, this morning. and we do different things with him. One of the things we're doing is a Nerf tournament to raise money and some awareness. We have, a local church that's going to be grilling burgers, and Amazon comes in, donates 2,000 or 3,000 darts. And we host this Nerf competition. It's pretty cool. We do some other things, Special Olympics. We've got one of our coaches is the head coach of the Special Olympics, and she just takes it on. She travels with these kids. We've got about 15 to 20 athletes, and they come in weekly, and we have a leadership mentorship slash weightlifting program. They do powerlifting. And so they actually, we do a qualifier at our gym, and we also do a fundraiser at our gym. And then she takes them to different competitions as needed. And so we have a Special Olympics, and then there's other things that we focus on. We give back to a cause every month. So for if you come to our CrossFit gym and you check in to CrossFit Republic, we partner with a non-for-profit, and we give back per check-in. So the more you check in, it's naturally a good trade-off. It gives a little bit more marketing to the gym, but at the same time, we're able to write a check each month for that non-for-profit. And so, yeah, we try to stay, it's all for naught if you're not doing this kind of thing. I would probably be out of the fitness industry completely if it was just about fitness and we weren't doing these things. Honestly, it's not worth it. To me, it's not worth it with how how we do our life and run our life and stuff, and the culture we want to bring, if it didn't have those variables with it. So we're having a blast.
Well, you're in such a season right now of your kids are fully aware of everything that you and Jen do. Right, so, they are watching you.
Sure.
And they are getting to see and be a part of this culture. And I see you posting, like, your kids are getting so big, so quick. And you're able, with homeschooling and with everything that you guys have, you're able to focus on them because you guys feel good, have the energy and all of that. But your kids are being raised under this example. Right. And that is so priceless. And that's what I wish people could see, is that your kids are watching you. Your grandkids are watching you.
100%.
I've got a lady, her son is one of the head wrestling coaches in the state, and she's my neighbor, and she's probably almost 65, 70, and she's out walking religiously every single day. She gets her 3-4 miles in at 4 a.m. No excuses. And it's like, her kids see that, her grandkids see that, your kids are watching you. And
it's true. Well, they see the discipline, they see the success that follows the discipline. And that goes for anybody listening. And we're talking about health here. Health in general and in life only comes with discipline. But what you do is you just don't negotiate with yourself. When the alarm goes off in the morning, you get up. You don't hit snooze, you get up. It needs to be such a regular routine that it's just like breathing or eating, that it's a part of your life. And so whether that's putting fitness or whether that's getting up and having your spiritual time and your devotion with your cup of coffee, that you start moving and grooving. There's a book out there. It's not a Christian book, but like the 5 a.m. Club. I'm not going to say I get up at 5 a.m. every day, but I definitely, in the principles I'm telling you guys, I do myself, because there's no other way to be completely, to be as successful as you want to be without investing in yourself and putting routines in place. And there's something to be said. The early bird gets the worm is, I think, a very true statement. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, let's do this. I know we're going to be running out of time pretty soon, but so first you, Macy, and then we'll do Don, then I'll chip in. So if we had to tell our audience today, just 2 or 3 little hints of something that you do, a lot of our people, I feel like, are needing this jump start. They need to start exercising more. We have a population of people, a lot of people overweight. I'm overweight. We have a lot of people that need to do more. And so what would be just 2 or 3 simple things that you would tell people to do? Either you're doing them or you think that these people need to do them?
Okay. I don't have anything written down. This is just off the top of my head, but I'm kind of putting myself in the place of, let's just say, the population that we're talking to wants to do something. Some of them have a history of doing something. Some of them know that it's time to make a change. We've got to do something. Here's the thing is, you never want to, you may be built like this, but it's hard to go all in all at one time and go cold turkey. So when I say that, I mean, say, hey, I'm going to do this nutrition plan, go all in. I'm going to do this fitness plan and go all in. I really think if you want to create a healthy lifestyle that is sustainable, you truly need to take one small step at a time. So if that is, let's just say, your eating's not under control. What do you know that's really not good that you're doing? Maybe you're drinking a sugared pop 2 times a day, 5 days a week. What if you just took one of those away per day? You still had your sugared pop, but you're drinking just 1 a day instead of 5 a day. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, then you take 1 away 2 times that week and whatnot. So what I'm getting at is increments. So do what you know would be correct and try to do the best of your ability. Try not to hit that drive through that extra time. Now, as far as fitness is concerned and what you're doing, staying active, get up in the morning and try to be active maybe the first 10 minutes of the day. That means if you can expose yourself to sunshine, if you can step outside, take a breath, whether you're inside the house and you say, hey, I am just going to stay standing up, move around, try to touch my toes 10 times, maybe get down. And if you're a younger person, just do something for 10 minutes to get that heart rate going and up and at it and break that fast that you've had all night, move the toxins around in your bloodstream and drink a big old glass of water. I think that's going to change a lot of things for a lot of you guys. The dopamine, the endorphins, the hormonal change that comes with that. Just the first 10 minutes and then eventually the first 20 minutes. And then after that, then you're kind of developing a routine. So that's what I would say from those sides, as opposed to having your spiritual time too. I mean, interject that. Maybe you're doing it to some worship. Maybe you say, hey, I'm going to spend 10 minutes in the Word and then I'm going to spend 10 minutes moving around. However you want to do it. Bottom line is start your day off that you guys can make it happen. Don't negotiate with the snooze button. Just get up 10 minutes early and make it happen.
Very good. Very good advice.
Well, mine was going to be similar. So we're on the same mindset here, but it's those little habits.
Right.
Like, those little things really do add up. But, the first thing that I observe from people, and this is just me observing the population because we're different,
Right,
and when
right.
you start seeing, where someone's at, don't grab a Monster.
Mm-hmm.
Find something else. I like a drink called Axio that has
Right.
very low sugar and activates my brain to make me feel good, but still gives me
Right.
energy.
Right.
I've switched about 5 coworkers to
Mhm.
drinking that now.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a little switch,
Yeah.
it's instead of grabbing this, you grab that.
Right.
I like these Zevias. They have stevia in them, but instead of drinking soda, this is an alternative drink that I choose to drink and my son chooses to drink. So one thing is, stop some of those, a little bit of what you're doing
Right.
that is bad, and
Right.
you don't have to do it all at once. And then, just a little bit less. Eventually you won't want it anymore.
Right.
Eventually I don't drink coffee anymore. I know that sounds weird,
Yeah.
but I choose to drink water right away and then jump right into my
right.
protein.
It's good.
And listen to your body and modify as you go. The other thing is I don't get to work out every day. I can't do that to where I want to go to the gym every day right now with my 12-hour shifts.
Yep.
But I work out every single morning. Without question, I do 50 air squats before I do anything else.
That's good.
And it's just little habits that you get into.
Mhm.
And then I turn on music and I work out for 2 songs.
Yeah.
So just free weights. I have free weights in my house and do different things like that. So
Right.
you fit it in. And then I like to go to a gym once or twice a week and get that squeezed in. So just do what works for you. I take a couple supplements constantly. One of them is Protandem. Lynn takes that too.
I take that too.
Lowers our oxidative stress. It's something very easy that we can do. And I've drank Kangen water for 11 years. So just drinking water. If you don't like water, find a water you'll drink.
Right.
I know someone that only drinks Fiji water. Well, drink your Fiji water,
Right.
just drink your water.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, guys, I feel healthier already just listening to these 2 people. I think I'm healthier.
You are.
So, no, this is good.
And,
So,
and on
looking good.
nutrition for
Yeah.
me, Lynn, protein does me the best.
yeah.
Like it's not just about protein for muscles, like protein fuels my body the longest. And I really try to avoid a lot of carbs during the day because it makes me personally tired.
Right.
And so I have to get the right kind of carbs. And so, you go down to the lunch cafeteria and the mac and cheese looks great. Yeah, well, it's going to make me feel bad.
Right.
So I
And,
just don't choose to do that.
And what Don's saying, just for those out there, a lot of you guys, don't know the difference. I mean, if it's really basic, a lot of you guys don't know the difference between carbs, proteins, and fats. Like that doesn't, I've had people say, well, what's a good source of protein, And so that's something that you need to look up and say, sources of protein, sources of carbs, and then see what you need to get away from and what you need to add more. Proteins, they're called peppy proteins for a reason. They keep you consistent, and carbs will take you up and down. Carbs are only important to fuel your body, what you need to do, but you don't want to overeat them in excess. It's like putting fuel in your gas tank. You want to put a high quality fuel in there. So put a high quality carb if you do, like your vegetables and your fruits and whatnot, but try to avoid some of those extra things. And you guys can easily Google some of that stuff.
Lynn's got his protein shake. We're going to run out of time.
I tell you what, just very quickly, I knew we were going to do this health and wellness program this week. So since Monday, I didn't bring coffee today. Since Monday, my wife, every morning, we have this drink that she makes, and so it's protein powder, it's peanut butter, it's all kinds of berries, it's chia seeds, it's all kinds of great things. And this is what I'm drinking every morning. That's now cool. I'm going to substitute coffee. I'm going to drink green tea in the morning. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be drinking green tea during the day too. I've dropped Diet Pop since Monday, and so it's not very long yet. But we dropped it, and we're just going to drink water.
Right.
Our green tea,
good, yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. I've cut out white bread. So when my wife sends me a sandwich every day, I just want the meat and cheese and tomatoes, lettuce. I don't want the bread.
Well, we're going to want an update, Lynn. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, and we're going to see you next week.
Yeah, we will have a great show next week.
Family, do you dream this land stays free under God, not tyranny? That's what it means to really dream. 1, 2, 3. Can I